Good morning. Welcome to this transmission on Saturday, the 11th day of February. We're going to look at some opportunities bouncing around us for the rest of winter. If you have ever enjoyed a tea time, a truck talk, a transmission, a chat, you may know that I have some skill as like map reading, pattern perception, guidance that is structured enough to lean into and open enough for interpretation for you to make meaning and incorporate your direct experiences in conjunction with other things that connect and support and decrease the suck and increase the rad. I'm really excited about this discussion through the map of the year, looking at patterns, archetypes, a very cohesive theme to move through in relationship with different planets and plants through the year, really emphasizing intersectionality and integration. All you have to do is email me or check some posts. Add Meraki Farmacy to your favorites so that you can see me, because I can't beat the IG algorithms. I'm very close to starting to perform, and then it's over for these algo hosts. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay, let's get right into it. Doesn't matter your level of like prior awareness or experience, or like even your relationship with astrology in its many different forms. Evolution astrology is my shit, and it is modality and framework relationship building that helps inform our human experience and our goals of reducing harm, of increasing vitality, building relationships, all the yum things, right? Okay, so here we are. It's February. It's the 11th. Venus is our babe. Venus is in Pisces. Extremely juicy. There's no like transits or relational aspects or energetics that feel really destabilizing or chaotic. We have Venus conjunction Neptune in Pisces, and I have all these little hearts around it. This is on the 15th, but again, just because something happens on a day, like there's windows of time to work to really like focus some attention or intention with energies available, archetypal lessons, myth, practice, theory into practice. So Venus, Femme, regardless of gonads, beauty, pleasure, sensory enjoyment, love, harmony, balance. Venus rules Taurus, Venus rules Libra, so you'll see some overlap there for sure. Again, another thing about map guidance with Lou is bridging times, bridging seasons, bridging transits to carry these really supportive opportunities for connection and growing with us. When I see that Venus conjuncts Neptune in Pisces next week, I, again, drew a bunch of little hearts. I feel really excited about it because here's what I think it lends an opportunity for us to make meaning of. Love, beauty, value, all these things sitting with Neptune, Neptune and Pisces related, right? So Neptune, watery, liminal, boundless, without boundary, without structure. This is not good or bad. It is a spectrum of experience, right? So on one hand, whenever there's conjunctions with Neptunes, right, there's like an opportunity to look at where we avoid too much or distract too much or like really lost in fantasy. I also think it's very medicinal to dream and imagine what is possible, especially in relationship to our values, what we value about ourselves in the world, in relationship. What we value, what we find valuable is often impossible to surmise by a number, right? And of course, not just what we value, but how we align our desire, our actions, our goals, our communications, right? It can be like any way you want to highlight and focus and like bring it into a measurable, tangible action, as well as floating in Pisceanic, embryonic, gestational, creative, deeply compassionate, very spiritual waters of life. Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. We're not predicting what that looks like. We are interested and curious in the possibility of embodiment of that in our lives. That's the thing. That's it. That's the methodology that I like to bring to things. We'll be finishing out Aquarius season, which does not mean we leave Aquarian lessons behind us, especially as Mercury moves into Aquarius today. The sun and moon will go into Pisces the weekend of the 18th, 19th, and then Venus will be moving into Aries, where she will then conjunct Jupiter, and then later Chiron. These are big points of discussion, especially all things Aries, Aries seasons, Aries eclipses, Aries archetypes. Jupiter and Chiron there is talked about in more detail in the Lose map of the year, whatever. I still don't have a name for it. So if any of that interests you, again, there's availability and accessibility for these things. Why does this feel important to highlight? It also coincides with the cultural norm of, or holiday of Valentine's Day, whatever, man. Anytime the collective is prioritizing love, relationship, romance, generosity, friendship, the connection points. So relationship is when two or more bodies connect, right? And it's where they connect. It's how it connects. It's what is exchanged in that connection. And when there's a collective focus on that, regardless of like capitalism, whatever, that's yum. So we have these different layers. Winter, we're still very much in winter. Again, this very supportive, gestational, stable time that also bridges into the big dream world of what is possible and what we can imagine for ourselves through Pisces and Neptune. Of course, when Venus conjuncts Jupiter, Jupiter expands everything it touches. So I think that there's great value in however possible we can set some attention and some time, prioritize cumulatively, habitually through these windows of time, thinking about our values and relationships, and not just like with a romantic partnership. Of course, that's very important, but we're in partnership, our bodies, our dreams, our values, lots of intangible things that exist within this ecosystem of us. We're literally in relationship with everything. Looking at relationships in conjunction with applying theories of harm reduction and decolonizing is very, very important for an individual's maturation, growth, and healing, recovery, decreasing the suck, increasing the rad, and also outside of ourselves, more than self. We know that our world needs this. Whenever we can reflect, look, switch something up, deepen a practice in terms of relationship, and really, really challenge power dynamics, that approach of exploitation, right? And these systemic, cultural, societal things, we're doing the work of taking care of ourselves and other. And that must be part, I think that is integral to solving problems or increasing our health in all the ways that that means. Yes, we do things just for us. That's also really important, especially for those of us where building relationship and habits of self-care were disrupted by survival threats, trauma, chronic stress, limited access due to, again, systemic things, right? And systematic harm, whether that's access to healthcare or the limitations of our socioeconomics, which is fucking bananas. All of these things, I think that they must coexist, especially when we're looking at decreasing the suck and increasing the rad in community, in the real world, taking direct action, accountability. Again, this is a big part of Meraki Farmacy and Lou maps and Lou transmissions, right? Is that intersectionality of what an honor it is to continue to learn how to care for ourselves, especially in the form of recovering from abuse and traumas, childhood, adolescence, adulthood. Fuck yeah, empowerment. Whenever we explore and practice interdependence, reciprocity, compassion, doing things together in community, we are rebelling, we are protesting, we are saying yes, we're saying no to a lot of norms that and things in our culture that are by definition disconnective, by definition disempowering. Is this how we save the world? I don't know. I certainly believe and know from experience, personally, professionally, with others, that one way to do it, right? Multifunctional tools. What else did I want to share? There's way more. I have been really leaning in with rose. So this might not be the time of year where roses are growing and blooming, right? But rose is a plant deeply connected with Venus, and therefore the archetype Venus and these characteristics. Rose, maybe some people think it's cliche, and I'm just saying, like, giving roses. Roses have so much to offer us. And yes, like very tangible utilitarian offerings, in terms of her astringency, tightening our pores, beautifying, working with our beauty, skincare for sure. But also, have you been with a rose plant and just like the intricacy, softness, incredible beauty and awe of the freaking flower? Rose hips, juicy, delicious snacks, so plump and fertile with seed from that flower that was pollinated by critters. Have you ever pruned roses? I was in Idaho working landscaping, and there's a lot of tea roses used out there because of the climate and the high desert and all this stuff, and like rock gardens and all these things. And I spent 3 days straight in like a rose prune clinic and then doing it in the field. And being with rose offers so many different things, and one of it is like focused attention. And as I'm recalling this, I can't help but think about this, like Venus conjunct Neptune next week. When I'm pruning the rose and my mind starts to wander, I get pricked. I tend, if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing and I'm not minding and respecting those boundaries and the protection and the thorns, I get a little hurt. Is that like great harm? No, not at all. It's fine. I can handle it. It's a, hey, come back, pay attention. What are you doing? Where are your hands? Where are you? Are you fully present? I think that's one offering of rose. I don't want to tell you all the things about rose, because what I want, and I want to encourage and facilitate, is direct relationship building between you and rose. That's my main goal, and we're going to be practicing and putting that into a lot of practice this year, and the way things are offered at Meraki Farmacy, through Meraki Farmacy. I've been massaging with rose balm. I've been drinking rose. I came up with a beautiful tea blend that will be listed on the website. You can also get at me about it. Rose, Damiana. Damiana is another plant that I'm really going to be highlighting this year through Choose Your Own Venture boxes and these ongoing maps and things. Damiana is thought of as an aphrodisiac, and again, my relationship with Damiana has been built, me and them together. And one thing I find is an embodied sense and a pulling in and down of energy into parts of our bodies that are thought of as really creative and also erotic. So creative energy and erotic energy are bedfellows. When you know, the energies that go into sex and sensual pleasure are also the same kinds of energies and places in our body of art and beauty and creativity of all kinds, right? Like, creativity lives everywhere, all around us, and also is kind of accumulated in certain parts of our bodies, right? Thought of as our sex organs, or our womb, or our uterus, or our penis. And also, it's not just about the procreation of another human, right? We create an exchange in that area of our body through that and others in so many different ways. However, we can foster safety, a deeper connection, a unification, whatever we're creating and birthing, whether it's transmissions, tea blends, art, systems, system disruptions, right? Damiana helps us like physically connect in that place within us, has been my experience. Also just like this one, just a beautiful taste to Damiana. I learned from brown bear herbs that, so Damiana grows in the woods and the seeds are spread by quail. What a neat interdependence. Wow, what a neat fucking relationship. Again, I'm just kind of modeling what is possible when we center relationship and we remove sort of this like predictive or attempt to control when we're working with planets and even plants, right? And center more the relationship and the dynamics and valuing these entities of life for who they are and their own relationships, as opposed to what's this going to do for me, which is part of it also though, right? That's part of our relationship, is relationships with all things, right? Like getting needs met, meeting needs for sure. You feel what I'm saying? Approaching these things, I think, in these ways is not unique to me. This is not just my perspective, and is absolutely a rebellion and a protest and a disruption of paradigms that, again, are built for disconnect or that are exploitative in nature. The last thing I want to say about relationships in this aspect, or in this context, usually our relationships with like one thing inform others. And so I think a classic unfortunate example is through a system of thought and action, toxic masculinity, there is great overlap in how women, Femme, and the earth, and more than human kin, so animals, water, soil, how one is treated also and how it's thought of informs the other. So again, increasing direct experience of interdependence, reciprocity, compassion, respect, ecosystems, that kind of thinking is antithesis to disconnection, to exploitation, to rugged individualism. And that's why I think it is just so potentially powerful, beautiful, and sustaining to apply, to combine the theories of harm reduction and decolonizing with our spiritual practices or our earth and nature-centered lifestyles, beings, relationships, direct experience. It's more than just caring for ourselves, it's caring for others. And we must do that together. And I hope that is something that is lean into, felt, and experienced, not just in this beautiful time of year, and these just like very sweet, juicy opportunities, but that is something that we can continue to carry with us and expand upon and continue to build with. You can Venmo Meraki_Farmacy. You can go to the tree of links. You can email me. You can like, comment, save, share. Please give me feedback. What do the 3 people who seem to see what I'm doing want for me? Because I'm ready to perform and then it's over. But I would like to meet the needs of my community as much as possible, which means I need to like know more about them. And if you're interested in the map of the year, get at me. All right. I hope you have a very juicy, delicious day, time, experience. Thank you.